In today's video, I'm going to summarize a book that I've recently read called The Monk That Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. The main character of the book is Julian Mans. Julian is a very successful lawyer that earns a lot of money every month. Even though he is 53-year-old, he looks like he's 80 or more. He is a work addict, but he really doesn't enjoy what he's doing. He's always surrounded by very successful people with similar ideas as him, but even with that, he's not happy, having all the materialistic things he always dreamt of: a big mansion, private jet, and a Ferrari. Even then, he was not happy. He decided to work even harder, to the point that he was working 18 hours a day and he barely had time to see his wife and family. After a few months, his wife divorced him and his stress levels were even higher. One day, while Julian was defending one of his clients to the court, he felt a sharp pain on his chest, and after a few seconds, he fell unconscious to the ground. When he woke up at the hospital, the doctors said that he was lucky to survive that heart stroke, but he was very close to die that day. Then the doctor recommended him to reduce his work hours, or even better, to resign his job if that's possible. If he continues with this lifestyle, he will die soon. Julian took the doctor's advice very seriously, and at the next day, he announced his retirement at work. He sold his private jet, his mansion, and also, of course, the Ferrari he had parked on his garage. Julian decided to take his physical and mental health very seriously and decided to book a flight to the Himalayan mountains in order to study and learn from the monks that lived there in the sacred villages. After speaking with some people there, he found a monk that accepted to teach him his wisdom, and then Julian studied everything and took very seriously 5 main lessons. Lesson number 1: cultivate your mind. Julian's mentor teach him the principles by explaining his metaphoric stories that everyone can relate to. The first principle is about the importance of cultivating our mind and watch out on what we consume. The author says that our mind is like a garden, the garden of history. What this symbolizes in our brain is that if you plant good seeds, then you'll eventually have good fruits from the trees you planted, with beautiful flowers and nice grass and soil. However, if you put junk in your garden or you simply stop watering your plants, then it will soon look like a wasteland. The same principle applies to your mind. Let me ask you a question. If you could go to the garden of your mind, what will you find there? Grass and roses flourishing nicely, or toxic flowers covered with weeds? I'm pretty sure you know a lot of people around you that exercise on a daily basis, and some of them, they even follow what they call a keto diet. They take things very seriously and they control every single calorie they consume to their body, and that's why they have an amazing physique. Unfortunately, not many people do this when it comes to consuming for your mind. How many people you know that make sure to not spend too much time on social media or the TV? How many people you know that make sure to read at least 1 book a week? Unfortunately, the numbers are not very high when it comes to looking after our mental health, but to be honest, what you consume with your eyes and your mind is equally or even more important than what you consume with your mouth. Your quality of life depends on how rich your mind is, and what happens for most of the people is that their garden is probably not the perfect French garden design in front of the castle. But that's fine. That means that you can keep improving and organizing your garden while you watch out on what information you consume and make sure that not even a negative thought goes into your mind. The quality of your garden is probably far from what you would like it to be ideally. The author says that most of the people live either physically, intellectually, or morally inside a circle, very limited to their full potential. We all have big reserves of life that we never dreamed about. Remember that our mind is like any other muscle. If you train it, it will become stronger and will get better. However, if you neglect it, then it will become weak and will start to deteriorate. Lesson number 2: the importance of waking up early. I'm pretty sure that a lot of you are thinking, seriously? Another guy on the internet telling me to wake up at 4 AM in the morning and then work until midnight, and after 10 years I'll be successful. Don't worry, I'm not talking about this. The author of the book explains this principle more deeply and has more reasonable explanations than the ones you hear on conventional books. Why do you think people wake up late? When this question was asked to the author, he replied, most of the people wake up late because they have nothing better to do. This may sound weird, but I think that this is true, and I have personal experience to back up on this statement. When I was young and used to go to uni, I honestly didn't even enjoy most of my classes, especially the ones that started early in the morning. You probably are familiar with this situation. The alarm goes on at the time you are supposed to wake up, but you at least postpone it 3 times more before waking up and rush yourself to go without having even time to have breakfast. This is what I used to do most of the days of the week, except one day, and that was Wednesday. I used to go to a class related to big data, as my degree is in information management. This class was really interesting and the teacher was one of the best in the country, and the way he taught was different than the majority of the other classes where you take notes while the teacher is speaking and then you try to memorize it afterwards. The teacher actually wanted to get the students involved on the lesson and know your opinion on how we can handle each scenario. And the most interesting thing was that I wouldn't even need my alarm to be programmed for Wednesdays in the morning, even though the class will start at 8 a.m. and I would need to wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning. Every Wednesday, I would wake up naturally without my alarm ready to go to class, and that's because I actually enjoyed the lessons. Knowing this, every week I organize my schedule in a way that the most interesting classes start at the beginning in the morning, and that really worked for me. I would wake every day happy and motivated, and I saved a lot of time this way. There is a quote that says that you are not lazy, you are simply doing the wrong thing. The author of the book recommends to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning to watch the sunrise, and this is because our bodies were biologically designed to wake up during sunset and sleep at dawn. Then, if you can wake up during sunrise, you'll increase your energy levels and you'll feel more positive. But of course, only after a few days, as at the beginning, it will be something that your body is not used to and you'll probably feel exhausted for a while. To be honest, I don't think you need to wake up that early. You just need to make sure that you are having a productive morning and don't waste time in your bed. I made another video in regards to sleep, so I highly recommend you watch that one as well. You can find it on the top corner of the screen. Lesson number 3. Establish goals. The author says that establishing goals is similar to navigating a ship in the middle of the sea at night and look after the lighthouse. I'm pretty sure that most of you know how to establish a relevant goal, but what a lot of people still struggle with is that after reaching the goal that they always dreamed about, they start to get comfortable like they used to be before having the plan. The same happens with overweight people. They decide to follow a diet and losing 10 kilograms in the next 6 months. But you know what happens once they reach their goal? They go up 10 kilograms again in 4 weeks. And you know why this happens? Because they only established a goal which after reaching it, they didn't have anything else to pursue. And the same happens when you navigate on the sea at night. You have to navigate yourself through the lighthouse, and each one of them is built in a way that you can see the next one so that you don't get lost or crash through the rocks. You know what will happen if you stop looking after the next lighthouse? After reaching the first one, you will be lost, and that's what happens to a lot of people after reaching their goal. They only have one goal, and after reaching it, they feel lost in life. Which is also the reason why a lot of famous young actors and celebrities, they get addicted to drugs. They accomplish something really amazing at the beginning of their careers, and then they don't have any other goals, so they get lost in life. The author says that those who are really hopeful, they know what they want in life, emotionally, materially, physically, and spiritually. The priorities and goals clearly defined in every aspect of their life will play a role very similar in what a lighthouse does, offering guidance and refuge when the sea starts to get rough. Anyone can turn around their life if they know the direction they're moving, but if you don't even know where you're going, then how are you supposed to know when you reach there? So the next time you accomplish a big goal, remember to establish another goal. If we go back to our example, after losing 10 kilograms in 6 months, establish another goal, maybe increase the resistance or run a marathon. Just make sure that you are moving forward and not backwards. Of course, there will be some steps back that you'll have to do on the way, but just make sure that you are not doing this deliberately. Lesson number 4. The power of meditation. The author of the book points out the importance of meditation in all his books, and I also think that nowadays this is very underestimated. You don't need to be a Tibetan monk and meditate all day, but simply sit down once or twice a day and just let your thoughts flow without any judgment to free yourself. The reason why meditation is so much more important for current society than it used to be back in the days is because it calms your mind and lets you concentrate in one thing at a time. This is important because never in history of mankind we've been more distracted and stressed like we are now, especially with our smartphones, social media, and the need to be addicted to new stimulus all the time. This can create a toll in your mind over time. The author recommends to sit down twice a day, if possible in the morning after having a cold shower and at night before going to sleep. It should be done in a quiet room. The less exterior noise you experiment, the better will be your meditation. Be careful with meditating while you are lying back, as you can fall asleep easily. Then, close your eyes and don't think of anything specific, just let your thoughts flow freely. It will be very hard at the beginning to not think about anything because our brain is used to think. It's something anti-natural for us to take a break from our mind. However, you should try it and you will experiment the benefits just after a few meditation sessions. Your mind will be able to think with more clarity and you'll be more concentrated throughout the day. You will also have more emotional balance, especially when handling difficult situations like someone trying to make you angry. I find meditation quite useful and I think it's worth the 10-15 minutes to dedicate every day on it. Lesson number 5. Living in the present moment. The past is a place for reference, not a place of residence. The fifth lesson is related to the diamonds. These diamonds represent the small moments of happiness that are presented in our life. These moments are always in the present moment. Our human brains are designed in a way that we tend to remember too much about our past and worrying about the future. Also, the technological era we live nowadays, it doesn't help. We constantly receive notifications in our phone. We tend to multitask in so many different things at the same time that we never focus 100% on what we're supposed to be doing. The happiness in life very often is not about achieving the big goals or being financially independent or graduating from uni. Most of the time, happiness is the diamond you find in the journey of some goal you pursue. Happiness is when you wake up in the morning healthy and grateful about your life. Happiness is when you laugh with your friend about a silly joke. The author of the book says to never regret about what happened in your past, because you are only taking the present time. We all have a mission here, so stop being a prisoner of your past and become the architect of your future. If you like the video, please give a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.